Hey Gen Max, welcome to the 2025 tour of our beach home here in La Paz. I'm Brighton, this is my wife Kat, and we're going to share our home with you in this tour. This will be perfect for those of you who have already seen the tour of the house. You can see what's changed this year, and also for those of you who are brand new, I'll be sharing a lot of just overall about the house. So Kat, tell us about this year 2025, what we've had here, 2024-2025 winter season. We go home for the summers, so our season down here is November through May. We had a whole season this year, all 6 months. Last year, Kat was really delayed. I was slightly delayed, so.
Yeah, so we tend to theme our years off of what foster dogs we have, and I can't believe it. We only had one foster dog this year.
Just one. Yeah. One with a lot of personality.
Yeah, so it's the year of Peanut. The season of Peanut, and she was our foster dog, and both of our dogs loved her, but she got adopted out in San Diego. We're so happy for her. So this is the year of Peanut.
Yeah, otherwise we've had a lot of construction that went on this past summer. I spent a couple of trips down here getting construction done, so we'll tour the construction. And otherwise we've had a really great winter. It's getting a little hot right now.
Yeah, it's gotten hot a lot faster this year than normal. It actually got up to 95, 96. We escaped to Todos Santos for the weekend, but it was 15 degrees cooler over there. So a lot hotter this year, but man, what an amazing 6 months we've had. I'm just looking out over the beach and the ocean right now and the sun, and it's just beautiful. It's been an amazing 6 months.
Great. Well, let's start that tour here. And there's going to be a couple of spots where I'm going to ask for your advice. So be sure to get ready to put some advice down in the comments. So let's head out on the tour. So Kat is actually heading off to coffee. She has a new morning coffee club.
Yeah. So last year we started a gardening club, and it's been amazingly successful. And then this year we started a coffee club. And so a bunch of us just get together on the weekends, and we just have coffee together. We nibble on some gossip. It's just been awesome.
So Kat will be back for a quick farm tour at the end of this tour, but she is heading off to coffee now. So you've just got me for the next little bit.
Second cup of coffee. Let's just be clear.
Second cup. So actually going to start out the tour outside the front gate, which is where I started a tour. I think one of the first tours we took, but you can see this is completely different now. This is something that we had built, this whole wall here. With the new door and the window here. This is something that we had built this summer, and we are super happy with it. It just gives us a lot more privacy in the courtyard. You'll see that in a second, compared to what it used to look like. This was quite the construction project, but we are super happy with it. So we'll head inside, and for those of you who haven't seen it before, we have a garage and then some storage, and then Kat has a finca or a little garden back there. And this road here, which is a calle home, which is more of a pedestrian street, a really small road, goes out to the highway. So you can see the highway is right out there. So let's head inside here. Actually, let's stop and take a look at this. This is something I'm super proud of. We hired a metal worker to build these security bars, essentially, over this window. Kat really wanted to have a window in this wall, but we didn't want it to be something that people could just crawl through and get into our space, so or into our yard. So we showed him the fence along the beach, which has kind of a wavy theme, and had him come up with a design here. He is truly an artist. His contact information will be down below if you want to have a metal worker in La Paz who is just amazing. So he came up with that and built that for us. And then Kat really wanted to have a door with a curved top. So this was quite the project, but we did get it done. Of course, we have our Ring camera, and then we installed a lock here that this is not the right thumb, but it operates on fingerprints, and also you can push the numbers. So if we've got guests or something like that, we can give them a code, or our cleaning people, things like that. So let's hop inside here. So you walk into the courtyard. I like here now the courtyard really lines up. There's Nugget. She's in her pit of despair. She loves digging holes over there, and we let her do that. So now the old gate was over here right against the Casita, And so now we've got some plants, give it a little space away from the casita. And then it's this straight shot into the courtyard. Of course, we've got hammocks over here. We're a little worried about this tree. It's had some fungus growing on it, and we've been cutting it out as we go. So trying to get rid of this. Are you ready to head out?
Almost. I'm just coming to say hi.
So,
Nugget, enter
pit of despair. We've already covered that. So yeah, so hopefully this tree is going to survive. We've had it kind of trimmed back and got some spray for it to hopefully stop that fungus from spreading. But you can see here, most of the plants that were here were really doing poorly. They were just really getting shaded out by this tree, which is why we really needed a wall. Now, this was a compromise between Kat and I, that we only had a 6-foot tall wall here and the taller wall over here. And now Kat is admitting that we should have had a taller wall here, which is why those 2 blocks are up there. And we're kind of thinking maybe we'll see if we can get that wall added onto, because you can see directly into our neighbor's Airbnb over there. We hadn't really taken into account that their house is a little bit higher up than ours. It's tall enough to block that walkway to the beach. That road goes all the way to the beach, but not tall enough to block the neighbor's view. But let's continue in here. This is a table that we got. I think we got this last year, but a good find at a Segunda. So nice for this space. And we have the Casita here. I'll cover the Casita a little bit further on in the video. I'll come back around. But we just got a little barbecue area out here. And we've got Butters down here. In a previous video, I called Butters a foster dog, but he's really a foster fail. So he is our dog now. Let's head into the house now. So we've got a little area here. We call it the Florida room or the parlor. And actually, this is our router. We've got a mesh Wi-Fi network, and this is the router for this side of the property. And I made this bowl, and actually there's a video, I'll link to that, of me making this bowl with some local other expat woodworkers. So that was a fun project. Thank you, Fernando.
And Sunny.
Yes, and Sunny, both of you worked on that project. So heading into the kitchen, this is what's really exciting about the house, is it is a palapa house with a palm thatched roof. So it is just really open and beautiful inside. The kitchen, we really haven't done anything different with it this year, but it is a really, really sweet kitchen. The kitchen came with everything in it. And we did have to...
Pans, dishware, and I'm a terrible cook, and I feel like it's kind of wasted. You're not allowed to agree. And I feel it's kind of wasted on me, but I love, putzing around in here. It's fun.
Yeah, so, and it's very good for social, for having parties. We're having a party tonight, so people can be in the kitchen, outside the kitchen. Just the house is really open. It's great that way. All the furniture came with it too.
We're having a wee party, just a little party. Because we're leaving in a week.
Just so you know, you're no longer on microphone. So a lot of the furniture came with the place. We did have to replace fans and things like that, and some of the light fixtures that we've replaced over the years. We did get the house repainted on the inside, so you can see the blue is just a little more rich this year compared to past videos. And we did have these guys reupholstered. Kat let me reupholster and choose the fabric. Tell me below what you think. How did I do? We've been slowly replacing all of these blinds that go around the house as they break, because yeah, things do wear out. So we've been slowly working on that. Going through the living room here, we did find this table this year. This is a really, really cool table that we found. It has like a leather top, and found this at a Segunda. Also found which is a secondhand store, and also found this here, which will be going to another project that we're working on that we'll be talking about hopefully soon. Okay, Kat is on her way out to coffee now. We'll see you back in your farm in a little bit. So let's go ahead and go out this door. There are mosquitoes here, not a huge amount of mosquitoes, but there are mosquitoes. So Kat was really excited when we put this. It's one of those kind of like they sticks together because it has magnets in the middle. but both of these doors are metal. So when the dogs run through, it ends up sticking to the metal. So if anyone has any suggestions for how to stop the doors from, or stop the screen door from sticking to the metal doors and letting all the mosquitoes in, I would love to hear some advice on that. Okay, I think the last video that we had, this was under construction. This is what we call the ramada. It is just a wood-covered structure here as we go out onto our patio. We've got a little fountain in the corner, and then this is a covered area. It has like a bamboo. It's not quite bamboo, but a bamboo top, so it gets us a nice mottled shade. And we've built kind of an outdoor living room here, which is just a nice spot to hang out without it being too sunny. So yeah, this project turned out really, really well. And let's continue our way out here. You can see how the yard is starting to fill in. Things grow really, really slowly here in La Paz, so not as much of greenery as we had hoped over the last 4 or 5 years. So we're heading up to the pool, which currently is an infinity pool. So because I accidentally let it overflow this morning when I was trying to fill it up a few inches, I filled it up just a few too many inches. But you can see there, we actually treat it as more of a hot tub. And you can see on this side, and Nugget's following us around here. You can see it's got a nice seating area here and then a shallow area over there. So you can just hang out in this. And it is solar heated. And there also is a electric heater. So we can get it up. If we want it to be a hot tub, we need to turn on the electric heater. Otherwise, this week, it's been getting up into the low 90s, which is perfect for an afternoon dip. It's nice and warm. You can really hang out in there and, kind of cool off a little bit, but it's not going to cool off too much at 95 degrees. There is the glass fence, which some of you probably are familiar with. This was quite the project to get done, to get the architect to complete, but it is done. And we did have installed these kind of hurricane supports just in case there's a hurricane. We've actually been leaving them on because they're not too distracting. Now the metal fence over here, so we could have had a glass fence the entire way, but we saved like $1,500 by installing a metal fence here. But what we're finding is that we have to pay someone to paint it, which is like, I want to say $200 or so every year because the metal starts to rust. So we're constantly having we're fighting the rust because we're right on the beach here, always having someone repaint that once a year. And we have the solar panels on the roof. These have been damaged in a hurricane, and so they are less than perfect, but they still do work. And this year we did add some straps to hold them down in the next hurricane. So hopefully that's going to take care of that. And this is where we have coffee pretty much every morning. We hang out on the beach and have coffee out here. So with the dogs. So as you can see, some of these trees got planted, I think last year. They're just starting to grow. Things, like I said, things grow pretty slow here. But the neighbor's house, you can see it's a little bit taller than in years past. So you can kind of see a seam there. We thought they were going to put a second floor on, but they ended up just building a little parapet wall around the top. So I don't think they're going to be coming back and putting a second floor on anytime soon. They're still not living there, although the house is complete. It doesn't have any furniture in it yet. So continuing through here, let's work our way around. And we're going to hop in. This is the master bedroom here. We'll hop in there in a second, but the plants are growing in, filling in really nicely on the side of the house. We've got a little pathway to walk through here. This originally here was a lot bigger, and we pulled out some of it and made a path on this side and kind of more of a utility path there. But let's hop into the master bedroom. And this was actually really nice before the neighbor built this wall here. You could see the city of La Paz and the sunrise over here. But things change. Yeah, it's all good. We did get just got these just a couple days ago, these new bedstands or bedside tables here. And I designed these. So we got two of these, and you can see they're going to have a little inside there is going to be a little spot for plugging stuff in. So really great stands that are going to match the future headboard, and the bed stand. The bed is going to match that. We didn't purchase that yet because we're going to buy next year. We're planning on buying in November. We're going to buy a king size bed, and then once we have the mattress, we can build the frame around it. Also, I did get this here. This is my dresser. You'll see one drawer is missing because it was sticking, and so they took it back to the shop yesterday, and they're going to return it today. So, and then there's one more dresser that's bigger, and we paid about $900 for these 4 pieces of furniture, custom made. And as I said, I don't know if I did say this, but I designed it. So I designed this furniture. I kind of decided what I'm going to want the bed to look like, and I designed this all to match that future bed. So let's continue through this room. The bathroom, this was a big project this year, was redoing this bathroom and the other bathroom, or partially redoing it, I guess I could say. So we have a new window here. This was a really ugly window that went all the way across and actually was behind a wall here. And this was all one of those plastic and acrylic, just, not very pretty shower stalls. And so they went through and they tore that all out and built this new shower stall for us. And it has tile all the way around. We originally were going to put the glass surround back on, but just decided it was too pretty. So we had that metal worker come back out and build a couple of these curtain rods, essentially for shower curtain, so that we can really open it up. So this has been this was quite the project. The tile we had to have custom made. They didn't have enough of this color, and the first time they had problems with the color, and then they didn't have these edge tiles. Typically, let's see here. This is typically the way edges are done, is they just have just a regular tile and then grout. But I really wanted edge tiles, and they had to go and make these edge tiles. But I think it ended up looking really, really great. Now, we do have super hard water here, and so you can see we're getting water spots on things. So I'd love any suggestions for getting rid of hard water spots on tile. And especially, one of the things here is I really wanted an outdoor shower, but I knew it wasn't going to happen. So I decided in this shower to put a nice big window, and you can see that it actually scoots up and out of the way. So it feels kind of like we're outside, but not exactly. And this window is starting to get those hard water spots on it. So once again, suggestions for hard water spots getting off of windows, that would be really great. So we still have here the old sink, and this I hope to replace next year when I go through a second round here. And we also still have the old drop ceiling in here, but the project was getting a little bit expensive, and we decided we couldn't do everything we wanted. We were going to put a drywall ceiling in here and replace the lights. We did replace that light over there, but we just decided it was too much for this project for this year. So I'll show you though what we did instead of a drywall ceiling in the other bathroom. So let's walk through. Walking over to the office, not much has changed in the office, but I'll show you, for those of you who have not seen any of my tours before, this is the one room in the house that has a ceiling, and this is a drywall ceiling. We actually added this because both Kat and I work from home, and we needed a room to be somewhat soundproof, because you can hear, because the walls don't go to the ceiling, there's no sound privacy in this house. This also gives us a chance to have one air-conditioned room. This is a pull-out couch, And when it was getting up into the 90s here, we did spend the afternoons in here working or taking a nap. And this is my desk, also custom made. This was custom made last year. And one thing, I was going through old videos, I did bring down a keyboard from the United States this year. Last year I had purchased a keyboard locally, and the keys are in slightly different positions. So that can be a little bit of a challenge. And we do have security cameras around the house. Here we go. Here's something I should point out to you, is that if you want a Wish I Was There t-shirt or a Carpe Mañana t-shirt, so I can't really hold these up very well, you can get those. There'll be a link to those actually directly below the video. You can get some merch to support the channel. Thank you so much. One other way that you can support the channel is with buying me a margarita. We do have a margarita bar here that we make our margaritas at, and we even have a Margaritaville machine for when we want an iced margarita or a frozen margarita. But if you go to buymeamargarita.com, you can support the channel, and I love when you guys do that. Actually, I just recently read there was someone named Jen who said, I've really making what seemed impossible seem possible. So buy me a margarita, leave me a comment over there. We would greatly appreciate that. Continuing the tour into the bathroom, this is just the half bath, and this is something that we just painted the walls in here. It used to be like a pinkish color. Also replaced these light fixtures, and up on the ceiling, what we did is we put in a wooden ceiling with a light in it, and it really, Kat loved this. When I did this past summer, I came in and did this. I really wanted a spot up above that I could walk on, and because all of the Wi-Fi equipment and things like that is up above, and so I needed this wood ceiling that I could walk on over this bathroom. And so I just said, hey, you know what? Let's use this this just a sheet of plywood and give it some structure so I could walk on top, and let's just stain it on the bottom. And it turned out looking really great. Kat said she wanted this for her bathroom instead of the tabla roca or drywall. So let's go into what we call Kat's bedroom / her bathroom. And just because this is where we keep her clothes. So the other one is kind of my bedroom because that's where I keep my clothes. This one is her bedroom because it's where she keeps her clothes. This is, once again, a brand new. This is another piece of that furniture that cost us just under $1,000 for those 4 pieces. So really loving this carpenter. He also made the headboard over here and the headboard out in the Casita. So we're working with the same carpenter to slowly replace the furniture. The furniture that it's being replaced, it was like that fiberboard stuff. So the ceiling, of course, is palapa. And so if there's a hurricane or really strong rain, we do get some leaks in here. And that was really, making the fiberboard just kind of split and was really looking ugly. And some of the drawers weren't working. So new design, this is sitting up above the floor a little bit. And plus it is real wood, so it's not going to have that same problem. Continuing here into Kat's bathroom though, once again, we redid the shower in here, so got rid of the ugly shower surround. And also the showers, the hot water wasn't working right in the showers. And so we needed to rip out those plastic surrounds, and they cracked while we were doing that. So we needed to do something to be able to make the showers work. So now they do heat up. It takes a little bit because they're pretty far from the hot water heater, but they do get up and they get hot, so we can use the showers inside now. And you can see we use the same green tile as the other one, but we used a blue accent here because this has a blue tile theme. I did want to go all the way around the bathtub and replace that tile, but that's going to be a future project too. So yeah, this turned out really well. And then I worked with someone to replace the drop ceiling in here with this ceiling. And this is a plywood, but it's a Parodia plywood. So the wood is a lot more beautiful than it is in that other bathroom. and we made this kind of the shape of the ceiling. So you can see kind of how things work here with the ceiling. We did the same thing with the angle, following the angle of the rafters. So I think this turned out really pretty well. So yeah, I'm super happy with this project. Okay, so let us continue out this door into the courtyard again, which this is the second time we've been in the courtyard. And we're going to go into the Casita. I don't think there's really anything new in the Casita this year. Everything is about the same since the last time we showed you this. So we're hoping to turn this more into a kitchen, so like a real kitchen. This is our washer. We don't have a dryer because we dry everything out on the line. It's so dry here. It rains only a couple inches a year here. So it is very dry here. Well, this is pretty dark right now, but this is the Casita, and with that new wall, there's really a lot less sun that comes in, and this room gets a lot less cooked. So Butters does like this bed. This is one of his nice little hangout spots. So let me go over here. Slight change here is that this did get beat up last year by our caretaker over the summer. And so we did have this kind of refinished and put a polyurethane stain on top. Now there is this one weird spot here where I think this soap was sitting and got kind of this fog, and we can't get that off. So also, if you have a suggestion on how to clean a stain like that off of polyurethane, I would love to hear it. Otherwise, I think not much changed here. Maybe this window is something that changed since the last time I shot a video, as we put in some new windows, this one being the first of them from Baja Custom Windows or something like that. So you can see here that we haven't finished this off because the intention here is to go through and retile with a nice colored tile. So it's just a nicer, more colorful bathroom. So that's kind of the plan there. So let's go around here and we can head back to Kat's farm. So you can see here we've got some laundry hanging right now. And we're heading back to Kat's farm to join her. She is, through the magic of filmmaking, back from her trip to have coffee.
So it was a pretty good growing season this year. I think I grew 17 varieties. No, that may be too much. Maybe 12 varieties of tomatoes, a lot of ones that I bred myself. You can see some here, a native Mexican sunflower. I had kale, lettuce, passion fruit, a bunch of herbs, including basil, a bunch of peppers, cucumbers. I just had a little bit of everything.
Eggplant?
We actually had eggplant too. Good memory. And we just have been harvesting off of it. We've had a lot of salads this year. It's been really good. We're trying to eat healthy. So this is my new passion project for the year. This is a shade house. We don't have the shade yet, but we got this constructed by a local welder who actually did some other work for us. He's amazing. We got this built for about $300 US. And if you watched any of the previous gardening videos, or you came on the garden tour this year, you know that we try to coexist with the local critters here. I try not to harm anything. So this is to keep out the birds. And I'm really excited about it. We're going to get it up and functioning next year. All right, so I'm ridiculously proud of this plant right here because I grew it from seed. It's about 4 years old. It's some sort of mandarin. It's never fruited. Hopefully it'll fruit next year or the year after. I have no idea what it's going to look like, but it's super healthy and I'm so proud of it.
So that is the extent of the 2025 tour of our house here on the beach in La Paz. If you have any comments, please share those down below. Also be sure to, if you want to support this channel, go out and get some merchandise like this shirt that I'm wearing, or support us through Buy Me a Margarita. So head over to buymeamargarita.com. You can buy us one margarita, you can buy us 5 margaritas, or you can buy us a margarita on a monthly basis. That is wonderful for helping me keep up with the financial end of doing all of this production, because it takes me away from a little bit of work. So I'm hoping to make this sort of my retirement project. So I want to continue growing the channel. So be sure to share and subscribe if you haven't already done so. So let me know in the comments down below what you're thinking for the year, what you thought of this video. And here's some more videos. Up here is older videos of the house tour, so you can go back and take multiple tours over the years. Down here, something important that YouTube has decided on just for you. Hasta luego. Wish you were here from La Paz.